And not only did they decide to remove my security in the UK, but they also signalled to every single government around the world not to protect us.
Today, Prince Harry opens up about something much bigger than personal grievances, something that sets a new precedent for royal security. A story that speaks to power, control, and family. Stay with us to see how the royal family security system is now changing forever. From the moment Prince Harry stepped down from his royal role, security became an issue that defined his relationship with the royal family. But what exactly is at stake here? In this revealing interview, Harry shares how his security was pulled and how that decision was not just about him.
The threats and risks to my life, I was born into this position. I was born into those risks, and they've only increased over time, along with my marriage to Meghan.
Harry is clear. Private security simply can't match the power or protection of police forces. It's a critical point he drives home as the real threat begins to emerge. Why? Because private security lacks jurisdiction.
Well, first off, private security can only do so much. Again, I can't go into the details of that, but I think most people will be able to work that out. One of the major things is they don't have jurisdiction in a foreign country, or in any country. They don't have any jurisdiction. Police protection is effective protection, which is what my grandmother made very clear that we needed.
Tabloid headlines played a crucial role in shaping the narrative, with many questioning why the British taxpayer should pay for Harry and Meghan's security. But according to Harry, those numbers were grossly exaggerated by as much as 18 times.
Some of the British tabloid press, did a very good job in campaigning to have our security removed by quoting figures such as £20 million. Right, and through this disclosure process, I've seen constituents in the UK write to their MP saying, I don't want to, as a taxpayer, I don't want to pay for Meghan and Harry's security at this cost. They're literally quoting headlines from British newspapers. Those figures are obviously grossly exaggerated by about 18, 19 times.
For Harry, it's not just about protection, it's about control. Losing security wasn't just about safety, it was a power play that left him vulnerable and isolated. The message was clear: leave the royal fold, and you lose everything, including safety.
Security was used as leverage. And I think what really worries me more than anything else about today's decision, depending on what happens next, is that it's set a new precedent, that security can be used to control members of the family. And effectively what it does is imprison other members of the family from being able to choose a different life. If for me security is conditional on having an official role, one that both myself and my wife wished to carry on, but then was rejected, not by Ravek, was rejected by the royal household, and the result to that is you lose your security. That basically says that you can't live outside of their control.
But what really drives this divide deeper is the lack of communication. Harry claims he was never allowed to make his case, to stand up and defend his family, to speak for his own safety.
I've never ever been allowed or offered to make my own representations. Not in 2020 and not for the last 5 years. And the new Ravek chair continues to avoid answering some very specific questions that I have.
Behind the headlines lies a political struggle. Harry points to government decisions and a system where royal safety isn't about protection. It's about who holds power.
This all was initiated under a previous government. There is now a new government. I have had it described to me, once people knew about the facts, that this is an good old-fashioned establishment stitch-up. And that's what it feels like. I think that, based on the judgment that the court has put out today, it clearly states that Ravek aren't constrained by law. Again, I wish somebody had said that from the beginning. If they're not constrained by law, then this decision was made by the royal prerogative, which means that on national security matters, my case, which the other side have used national security exclusions and excuses to withhold certain information from me, restrict me from being able to speak about certain things to the public, that this national security matter is not bound by any law, and that Ravek can abandon the very processes, the very expert processes that exist to protect individuals and the people around them, as well as the decision makers themselves, from liability if anything should happen.
At the core of all this is family, Harry's love for his country, his deep connection to his father, and his yearning for reconciliation. But despite everything, his love for his family remains, even if some wounds will never heal.
I would love reconciliation with my family. There's no point in continuing to fight anymore. As I said, life is precious. I don't know how much longer my father has. He won't speak to me because of this security stuff. But it would be nice to reconcile.
As Harry battles for security, he's fighting for more than protection. He's fighting for his right to exist freely and to ensure that his family stays safe. The question now is, will the royal family offer him that security? Or has the system failed him and all those who dare to step away from it? If you found this story eye-opening, we cover global events just like this, stories that matter, but don't always make it through the noise. Subscribe to stay ahead of the headlines, and we'll see you in the next one.